Good morning. It's the 23rd of April, a Thursday, or Thursday. Yes, that means we are drinking today either beer, wine. Don't think we've got money for rum. We haven't got rum money today, but we have got beer and wine money today at some point. Good morning to you. It is 10:07 here. It's going to be a lovely day. It's going to be highs of 71 today. Clear skies, not a plane in the sky. Can't hear any kind of air travel. Don't see any chemtrails. Perfectly clear skies, incredibly quiet. It's kind of nice. It's kind of like, almost feels like the last. I don't know if you've ever seen that show, The Last Man on Earth, but if you haven't seen that show yet, you've got plenty of time to watch stuff. Jump on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it's on there. I don't know how many seasons they did, maybe 3 or 4, but I would heartily recommend, especially now we're like 5 or 6 weeks in to the isolation lockdown thing. The season 1 of that is incredibly funny. Anyway, today I wanted to quickly remark on something because it's 15 years today that the first video was posted on YouTube, which was this like awkward 540 540p 4:3 perspective video on a janky VHS video camera. It's got all the scan lines and everything on it, of the first video that was posted from content that was filmed in a zoo. And I believe it's one of the original developers, or one of the original team, or one of the original YouTubers, before they obviously sold to Google later on. So yeah, 15 years, kind of crazy, right? That this OG web service, like in terms of the internet, something that's been around for, I mean, TikTok, that's only been around for what, like 4 or 5 years maybe. So when you look at something like YouTube, it's kind of the OG grandfather of websites. And the fact that it's, you know, the second biggest search engine in the world, no wonder Google came along and snapped it up. But I kind of want to talk about determination, legacy, and nostalgia, because there's something happening with video right now on the web, and I think it's because lots of people are at home and they're isolated, they're finding different ways to work. I think we went from something like 6 million Zoom users to 200 million Zoom users globally. They literally put a mark in the sand and said, whoa, we've got to stop like with any kind of feature creep. We've got to fix all of these things that are a problem right now: the Zoom bombing, the security, the installer that looks like malware. Well, it kind of was malware in some ways. They literally put a flag in the sand and said, right, we've got to stop what we were doing and we've got to fix all these problems. So they've released a new version, Zoom 5, which I don't know if it's going to be better or if it will just make hackers more determined to knock at the doors of their attack surface a bit more, because it's almost like an FU to hackers when it's kind of like, oh, we fixed all the bugs. It's kind of like, oh, have you? Let's see if there's some more bugs then. So I wouldn't say that Zoom is going to be fixed right now. But anyway, back to the point. Determination, legacy, and nostalgia. I wanted to remark on this today because even though it's 15 years since that first video was posted, I think we're seeing a really interesting emergence of people getting back to having conversations online and doing video again. It's interesting how the video bloggers that I used to hang around with a decade ago are now popping back up on Facebook groups and hanging out in Zoom again. I don't know if that's a reaction to other people talking about video blogging, or we used to do Zoom before you did, or what it is, but it's fueling a kind of sense of nostalgia in me. And I kind of wanted to remark on this because the modern version of this would be, for an artist, for instance, who makes music, would be something like having your music used on TikTok. So you might be a artist from 20 years ago who had like maybe 2 or 3 albums and a couple of like number ones, but effectively you're kind of off the map. Your manager has like not been able to obviously book anything for you. You're in your elder years. However, all of your back catalogue and content is on platforms like Spotify and things like that, iTunes maybe. And so what I'm seeing now is that we have these short form, quick, short attention span platforms like TikTok, which are an algorithm driven machine even, to give you that 15 milliseconds of fame multiple times a day if you make content that like people react to. But one of the crucial, easy but smart parts about TikTok is that you can remix any video that's on the platform. So that's something that no other video platform that I used in the last decade or so ever had, was the ability to be like, oh, I really like this music, I'm gonna take the music that was used on this and flip it into my video, and here's my interpretation. It's like an interpretive dance, right? You can have the same track on and people are going to dance to it in different ways, and that gives virality to content, because then people are, what is this track? Oh, I love this track. Oh, have you heard this track? And then all of a sudden you've got people that move outside of the TikTok platform and they're going to Spotify or to iTunes, or they're going to an event where they're getting all together, hanging out, and they play that TikTok track, as they call it, even though it's somebody else's content, somebody's archive content that they've put up. So what happens is that artist that hasn't done any music for 20 years all of a sudden sees on their Spotify stats that they're blowing up, and they have oftentimes have no idea why that's happening. And I've seen this multiple times in the last year or so, where artists are actually setting up a Twitter account for the first time just so they can react to the comments that people are putting about their track, and even like seeing quite sizable paychecks from practically nowhere. So I think there's a real interesting element to content right now, is that people are starting to wake up to the fact that it's not just about in-time content, it's about something that's called evergreen content, which is content that can be remixed and recycled and is relevant at some point. It's also called long tail content, that you do something so hyper niche that nobody's really interested in it until they're interested in it, and that could be a year, 2 years, a decade from now. And I think that's an area that we should do a lot more work on, because there's so much content out there, but the discovery of that is normally pretty bad, and TikTok does a really good job of that. I'd be interested to see if you could fuse together something like YouTube and Vimeo and TikTok and have some kind of ultimate AI discovery engine based on your mood and things like that. So yeah, I just wanted to put a little video out there today to commemorate the 15 years of the YouTube video, and just have a chat, really. You know, that's one of the wonderful things about the internet, is you can just record a video and stick it on the web. All right, I will catch up with you soon. You have a great day. Bye.